I what I would suggest and what I have sent an email to our council president about is us being very mindful of how we reopen. I personally think that um, if you are in government or in their opening back government offices, and which a lot of people are complaining about, as you guys have seen around the state, people gun toting at state houses and at the governor's mansions and all this other stuff with guns, which is just so crazy anyway. I think we all should be tested before we come back. And that's just my personal belief. If you guys want us to come back into those spaces, whether you're a city, county, or state employee, I think we all should be tested. Because the thing about it is, we could be bringing something into an environment, into government, and we get everybody sick. Whether that's taking temperatures, I think temperatures are great. However, there's a lot of people now lately have been saying that they've tested positive and they didn't have a temperature. And so I think that that's one thing I think we need to think very, uh, uh, be very mindful about is making sure if we're going to open back up the state and we're starting with companies and government, those people who work in those factories and work in those businesses, they all should be tested. I mean, have we not seen what's going on right now in South Dakota, where we have over 300 people in a pork factory test positive? These are people who've handled meat that has been sent all over the United States, and they all tested positive. So that's a concern. So now, if we're talking about we're going to open our schools back up, and that's not one of the things that's in phase one, but I'm saying if our schools are going to open back up, we have to really be mindful what that looks like for our kids. And if you're a parent of a small child in school, you have to be mindful what that may look like for that child. They're not really testing kids. Kids don't even seem like they're even an issue in their mind, although there's kids getting it. So if you're sending your kids back into a school system and you've got lunch people handling food, you don't know if a teacher is sick, you don't know if the environmental services people are sick, you don't know who's sick, and then now you're sitting here saying you're sending kids back to school. But thank God that's not in phase one, so we get past that part, and I think I personally think that school should just be closed for the rest of the year. I think the packages that they're doing with the kids have been very phenomenal. um, and then there's been a lot of issues with people with unemployment and them being denied their unemployment. And I've been on the phone with a couple people today about what they need to do to, be able to maneuver that system. And I would say keep trying, because every time you put that claim in, when it gets approved, at least you'll get all those back ones back. So keep applying. I hear there's no way that you can uh, talk to anybody in person. So I'm going to see who I can get a number from and see if they could be some kind of troubleshooting for people who are having issues with getting their unemployment taken care of. Because the biggest issue we're having right now is a lot of these places that are closed, some of them very well may not be able to open back up, because now the federal government is saying that they've ran out of money for small businesses. So how do you expect these small businesses to open back up if you're saying you ran out of money? So of course, that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother day. That I think we really are going to have some issues with a lot of our small businesses reopening back up if they're saying that they're running out of money. I think they should have taken care of the small businesses first before you start worrying about hotels and cruise lines and airports. And I think we should have made sure that there was an allotment of funding set aside to make sure that all of our small businesses were taken care of, and making sure that there's funding in place for those people who get furloughed or laid off, that they still have medical insurance. Because God forbid if you get sick and you don't have medical insurance, although they're saying the testing is free, but there's a big scope that comes along with that testing. Yes, the testing may be free, but what if you actually test positive and have to be hospitalized? God forbid if you have to go on a ventilator. I'm sure the hospitals aren't letting that be free. So I think we need to really be mindful of how we do things here in our own county, in our own city, to make sure that we are okay. I mean, this is a worldly problem. You've got over 2 million people who tested positive. We have nursing homes that are testing positive like crazy. Even if we just bring that scope in just on Summit County alone, our nursing homes have a really big problem right now. And some of us have family members who live in those nursing homes. And so we've got to make sure that we have the funding sources in place to make sure that our nursing homes are taken care of and our loved ones are taken care of if they need medical attention and don't have insurance. And do I think they're probably going to have to go back and ask for more money? Yeah, probably so. I don't know how that'll all work. We seem to have a lot of things going on with Mr. 1600 right now, so I don't know how all that works. So I'm going to just focus on our city for just today. Another thing that people are bringing up is about the stimulus checks. Who qualifies? Who doesn't qualify? I guess there's a new standard that they're putting in place based off of what Lieutenant Governor Houston said, that those people who file a 1099 will now be able to receive some sort of funding and it not be a loan. But things seem to be changing so much right now. That's something that I'll probably have to look and see if they've sent us over a presser about that, and see if something in that has changed. Stimulus money, again, those individuals who have bills that they may have put on hold for now, whether it's the city freezing, putting a moratorium on water bills, an electric company putting one on, and landlords being said they can't evict people right now. Listen, I have gotten several phone calls, several text messages, several emails from people who have been served notices from landlords. So if you're getting a stimulus check, I would encourage you to pay those 3 bills, because I'm telling you, when this is lifted, there are going to be landlords at the courts filing evictions left and right. And the issue with that is, I mean, they're landlords and this is their business. I get it. But if you're a landlord and you're applying for emergency funding from the state, from the county, or from the city, we have to make sure there's something in place that we're not funding landlords who are evicting people. You can't come to the city or the county or the state and ask for emergency funding as a business owner because you allow someone to stay somewhere and then you're evicting them in the same sense. That makes no sense to me. But then that's just my opinion. I have emailed the administration about my concerns because there's quite a few people who have been served notices. I have quite a few small business owners who their landlords are still telling them to pay rent, but these are the very same people who are applying for grants and loans through the state. So I need to figure out, not only as a council person, but for us as a city, how and what do we do to make sure that we're safeguarding it for those individuals who fall into that category? Because I don't think you should be able to be double dipping. If you're going to get money to offset the fact that you let someone stay somewhere because there was a freeze put in place, you shouldn't be able to apply for funding from the state, especially if you're evicting the person or if the person is paid rent, because you haven't been put in a bind if one of those two things have happened. So I think we need to work better about that. I know I've got a lot of landlords who are probably going to email me after this, and that's okay, that's fine. But we just got to make sure that we're taking care of those who are in need of that assistance and not trying to capitalize off of a system where there's money that can come to you to help you safeguard your property while somebody is staying there rent free. So that has been a really, really big issue for me and some of my residents. A lot of the residents are concerned that I got an email today from a resident who felt like council people aren't doing their part. No one's seen their council people. But it's when you're in a shelter in place, it's really, really hard to really get out there and do the things that you normally do. What I've done on my part, just to do my part, I've been making masks, cloth masks for our kids and our elderly people, and I've been doing that free of charge. I know there's people out there who are making offset their incomes, or maybe that's their business, and that's great. For me, it's helping me occupy my time and doing something productive with it. So I'm really trying to focus on our babies because I feel like our kids are being, left out in all of this. I think that people think because they're young and they have these healthy, robust immune systems that they can't be affected. But we have a lot of young kids who have a lot of respiratory problems, whether that's bronchial or asthma or other issues. We have younger people who have diabetes. So these kids fall into a different category. So I want to make sure our kids are taken care of. And of course, our 60 and over group, we definitely want to make sure that they're taken care of, because a lot of our elderly people, they're still coming and going. Not all of them are sheltering in place. My mom being one of them. So I had to make her one because she just can't stay still to save her life. But there's a lot of them who go out at 7 o'clock in the morning, who go to the grocery store, and they're not wearing masks. They don't even have gloves on. So that's a little concerning. So I think we have to work on that. As far as our water goes, that's the city service. So if you're having an issue with your water and your water bill seems to be tinkering up and you have questions or concerns, please make sure you reach out to me. You can put it on here and we can answer those questions right here while we're Facebook live streaming. I definitely want to answer any questions that anyone has. If I don't know the answer, I will find it for you. And making sure that everyone understand that Governor DeWine is talking about phase one. And I think all of us are a little concerned by that. Do we think it's too early? I absolutely think it's too early. As someone who was sick for 3 weeks, you couldn't pay me to go out here in this world right now, even if they said, unless they said there's a vaccination for it. And I don't do flu shots or none of that. That's because they harvest them in eggs and it's just an allergy thing for me. But that's the only time I'll ever feel really comfortable with going out amongst a large group of people when I know that there's a vaccine, because you just don't know how you're going to get it. I mean, there's so many different people who are now saying that they didn't go, you weren't out of the country, they weren't around people, and they tested positive. And so that's very concerning to a lot of people. And I think another big concern that I've gotten a lot of questions about are those people who have been told to quarantine who show symptoms, or if they do where you do the hospital has a nurse call you and they talk about your symptoms and they tell you to quarantine. How many of those individuals who've been told to quarantine and then their health depletes and then they end up in the hospital on a ventilator, and worse if they end up passing because they were told to shelter in place? So those are things that have come to me and people have had a lot of questions about. I think we really need to make sure that there's something in place for that, because as someone with a dad who has a lot of health issues, I've not been able to be in the house with my dad. It's been over 30 days. My dad has been sick for over a week now with a cough, with a cold, and they're just calling him, telling him to stay in the house. And does that concern me? It absolutely concerns me, because I would hate for that to turn into something else, and all he's been doing is what they've told him to do, and that's to stay in the house and away from people. And I think we all probably have parents like that, get a little small cough, a little cold, and they're telling them to stay home. So I think we need to get better about that. And I also think as they move from phase one to phase two, that they're actually going to be testing people who are going back into the workplace, especially when you work around, if you're working in warehouses, if you're working in hospitals, if you're working in places where there are more than 10 people in a group. I think it should happen regardless whether it's in 10 people in a group, but 10 seems to be that magic number that they're using. I just read a report today that said that it's not good to go to a friend's house and then go back home. And you don't know what that friend's house has in it or what they have, and now you've taken it back home. So I think we need to be mindful of that, because two of the biggest complaints that I've gotten from residents, even residents outside of my ward, are, I'm looking at the papers, I don't want to forget anything, house parties, barbecues, and large gatherings. Those three things have been the main three things I've gotten complaints about. I've gotten complaints of that on Easter, people had big gatherings at their house. Oh, that's the stove. Can you get that? Thank you. That people have had Easter gatherings and saying they're just around family. It does not matter if you're just around your family. Just because it's your family does not mean that they're not sick and you can't get sick. It does not matter. This virus is not saying, hey, oh, that's Tara's family, we're not going to give it to her family members because they're her family members. She can go around. It doesn't work like that. And I think we need to be a little more mindful of that. There's a report out today. I think it's going to be in the Beacon Journal tomorrow. It may be in there today, where they have it broken down by area code. I mean, zip code, not area code, zip code, which places have the highest amount of COVID positive individuals. And I will tell you, Twinsburg and West Akron was at the top of that list. The most pushback I have gotten are from my own people that think this is a joke. They think that they don't have to stay in the house. They think that if they're in a house with only 4 or 5 of their friends or family, that that's okay. That's not okay, because somebody in that house may have it and you never know. It's not like they just have to be coughing, 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 and that's a sign that it can. They said it sheds. So now we're talking about something they said can shed off of you. So I think we all need to be very mindful of that. If we do the things that we're supposed to do, those people in this world will still be there when this all passes us. And I think that's what we need to be very mindful of. I don't think we are, because we all want to go out and see our friends, see our families. Some of us think we're going to miss something. I promise you, you're not going to miss anything. You're not. And then one of the other things that residents have talked to me about is, I have residents who are talking about they have issues at their houses, things that are broke, water tanks, heaters, just issues in the house, but the landlords aren't sending anybody into the house. That's something I think I have to make a couple phone calls probably to the landlords or maybe to their management companies to find out what we can do to get those items fixed. Because a lot of them won't go into houses right now because of everything that's going on. And although some of them are considered essential services, even as an essential services, some of those employees are still a little nervous to go in people's houses. So I think that's something that I have to look into. And again, anyone having those kind of problems, please make sure that you inbox me, text me again. My number is 330-212-9118. If you have issues on your streets, whether you're noticing potholes or you're noticing large gatherings, please make sure you send those to me. I don't know unless you tell me. I am truly taking shelter in place serious. I refuse to get sick again. It's not a fun feeling at all. And to see other people who are still out as if this is not a big deal, it concerns me greatly. Okay, Ryan, your question was, how long do you think we should stay in and return to work? I guess that depends on how the governor phases things out. Right now, he's saying phase 1, he's going to start with companies, but they're going to put them under some strict guidelines in order for them to open back up. I'm sure there's going to involve masks, gloves, temp checks, and again, some people they're not having a temperature when this is happening. So I don't know what that all is going to look like. I can't really say how long to stay in. For me, I'm just being a scaredy cat right now. I don't know, but I think I'd rather be scared than go out and just assume that this thing has passed us, and it hasn't. Because although Ohio has done a great job, our numbers are still on the uptick. I just got a report from nursing homes today, and how many nursing homes have residents that have residents or staff members who have tested positive. And some of those, hold on, I'll try to go over some of those nursing homes, because some of us do have residents in those nursing homes. And I think we need to be very mindful of, if you have a family member in a nursing home, you haven't been able to see them, make that nursing home set up some kind of FaceTime or Snapchat or Messenger video messaging where you can check on your family members. Don't just let them sit there. It is very imperative right now that we are checking on our loved ones who are in the nursing home. So I'm going to go down to, unless someone wants to know about Collier County or Stark County or one of those other counties, I'm going to go straight to Summit County. Now, Summit County, and this is actual information from the Ohio Department of Health and Social, and let me make sure I got the right department. This is directly from the Department of Health for the state of Ohio. So when we talk about Summit County and those residents in those nursing homes, Arbors of Stowe, they have one COVID positive resident. Brookdale Montrose has three. Brookdale Barberton has one. Canal Point Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, they have three. Hickory Ridge Nursing and Rehab Center, they have one. Ohio Living Rocky Knoll. Now, we all know where Rocky Knoll is on West Market. That one is right here in the city of Akron. They have 28. 28. And Pebble Creek Healthcare Center, they have 7. Now, those are just the nursing homes in Summit County. We're not talking about Stark. We're not talking about Carter County. We're not talking about Mahoney County. They have their own massive issues going on. But right here in Summit County, if you have a family member, a loved one, or even a family member who works there, check on them. Make sure that they're okay, because, you know, our elderly people are being hit hard, but we've got to think about those people who work there too, who may be taking it home. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to is you as an employee working here, you're taking care of individuals who are sick. And this is the job that you signed up for, but you are taking something possibly home to your family. To your young children. So we have to be mindful of that. Okay, let me look. I have a couple other questions on here. Yeah, everyone's talking about the 5G towers. COVID-19 is what's killing everybody. I know everybody wants to jump on the 5G towers. Those are there because everybody's using their cell phones. And, you know, I know everybody's like on this big government conspiracy thing. The one thing about these cell phone towers that go up, they have to come to us for permission, and we've denied quite a few of them. We just denied a really big one before we went on recess from council. But there's certain laws that, you know, they follow from the state that supersede us as a city. So I've gotten a lot of calls about the 5G towers, and I just right now, it's 5G towers are not killing our residents. COVID-19 are killing our residents. These towers have been popping up everywhere. I think people are just paying them attention now because everyone's, you know, they're in this hypersensitive mode going on right now. And I think that's what people are paying attention to. There's one, I think, over there by East Avenue before you get on Expressway. These towers are everywhere. They've been everywhere. They've been popping up everywhere. They've been here. So I think you guys just probably wasn't paying any attention. They come to city council all the time. Some of them get approved. 2 of them just didn't get approved. And one of them would have been in West Akron, and we voted that one down. We had one that was going to be over in Firestone Park off Woolworth Road. We voted that one down. So these aren't new to the city. They've been popping up everywhere. So, okay, next question. Yeah, you're right, Janine. Better be safe than sorry. You're welcome, Cornelius. The one thing that I really want to stress to our residents is making sure that if you are a renter, that you are keeping contact with your landlords. That is one of our biggest concern is the influx in homelessness that will happen once we open this state back up and people being evicted and not having a place to go. That is one of our greatest concerns. And the amount of people who will be unemployed when this is over because a business didn't apply for one of the small business loans in time. And that concerns me. Thanks, Tavi. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Representative Galansky. You know, they were talking about today on the news, over 5 million more people in the country have applied for unemployment. That's on top of the ones who'd already applied. And you just got to think, if they're running out of money, what happens to those individuals who are applying? Where are they going to get the money from? And so that's a great concern for us as being in the elected capacity that we're in. And for those, you know, down at the State House, it's a great concern. And I'm hoping that's not the reason why we're rushing to open the state back up is because of those issues. um, because I think that we're going to pay a grave price later. I know Ohio had partnered with Governor Evers, the state of Wisconsin, I believe. He and Governor DeWine are partner up to look at how to reopen the states back up. But Governor Evers, his state won't open back up until May 26th. So I'm hoping that that they're working on something where they can phase out slowly and gradually, because the biggest concern is I think people are acting as if this is a common cold or if it's the flu. This is not neither one of them. This is something that is actually, uh, it attacks your lungs, and you're almost drowning. That's the feeling that you feel. It's almost like you're drowning, and there's no cure for that right now. This is not the flu where you go get a flu shot and you might get sick for a couple of days and it protects you from getting the flu. There's no vaccination for this. There's no way they can tell you that if you get it once, you can't get it twice, because this is the unknown. This is something we've never experienced. And I know a lot of people are like, it was people just uh, overhyped it. They made it more than what it is. Listen, when death is death, and death is forever. It's not like you're going to bounce back from that. You can't tell people who've lost family members from this that this is overhyped, especially if they had a family member who was doing okay. And then we're not even talking about those individuals from maybe November to the present date, or we'll say November to March, people who died of breathing problems and respiratory problems that they may have thought was pneumonia or the flu. We don't even know, it could have been this all along, because clearly, like Dr. Amy Atkins said, it's been here longer than we thought. And that's a concern, is how many of those individuals who just abruptly passed away because they were having breathing issues and they said it was pneumonia or the flu. And it probably wasn't, but we don't know that. So I think it's being safe than sorry is the best thing that we can do right now. And again, if you are a renter, please get with your landlord. Get with your landlord, because the courts are going to be inundated with cases when this is over. They're pushing cases further and further out, but eventually they're going to have to hear all these cases. And there's going to be landlords down there with stacks and stacks and stacks of evictions. So to be able to work something out with them now, and even if it's just you going on a payment plan while you wait for your unemployment, or if you get your stimulus check, this is not the time to say you want to go shopping. This is the time where you're saving your money or you're paying your bills, because they're going to come due. And I truly believe, unfortunately, when this is all said and done, because of it happening the way it did, and no one was prepared for this. No one. I don't care how much we thought we were. No one was prepared for this, especially if you lost your job. I heard you coughing in there. You all right? um, is making sure that you take care of those things, because I truly believe this country is going to experience the amount of bankruptcies that they have never experienced before, ever, because people are not going to be able to recover anytime soon from this. And so when you have people like Senator Sanders or Congressman Ryan or Representative Ro Khanna who are stressing paying people $2,000 a month for the next 4 months just so they can be able to survive, I think that's what we should have done anyway. A one-time stimulus, I mean, that's great if you're doing the right thing by it. But if you can't go back to work and your job has terminated you permanently because now they have to close, that $2,000 a month for 4 months is going to help you survive. We have our food banks who are doing a great job at the Akron Canton Food Bank, but those lines are getting longer and longer. And there's people out here who are depending on it now as their alternative for food. Yeah, they gave more money to people on the SNAP program, but if you have them ready to open back up the world, and you've got Mr. Trump saying he's going to open back up the world, that I believe will change everything, because now is it not on an emergency basis that you get extra food stamps? We don't know. All of these things it's just a big question mark of things that we just don't know. Okay, let me answer some more of these questions. Okay, Mary, I think it came out. Did you touch? Oh, absentee ballots. Okay, so you can still apply for your absentee ballot. The election is on April 28th. There is no in-person voting. I will put the link on my Facebook page when this is over. You can just click on it. You can either download the application and fill out, but this is the easiest way I've told everybody to do. Call them. I'll put the number up there. If you just call the Board of Elections, they'll put you an application in the mail. You fill it out and send it back. Most of my family members have done this. I sent out a massive text to all of them. I gave them the number. I had them call, and they got their application. They filled it out. They've gotten their ballots, and they've sent their ballots back. So this is your way. I think mail-in voting should be mandatory, and I'm hoping that we do that all in November as well. Until they come up with something to say none of us are going to get sick and we're all touching different stuff, I wear my gloves everywhere because I'm just a hypochondriac right now. But a lot of people aren't wearing gloves. That's just, wear some gloves. I don't care if it's your winter gloves. Y'all might see me walking around in the summertime with winter gloves on because I just don't want to get sick. But I will put that number up. Please exercise your right to vote. My friend lives in Oregon. They do mail-in voting, and it's phenomenal. I think we should do the same thing. I know they say this is an easy way to cheat. No one's cheating like that. No one is saying, "Oh, let me get a ballot and cheat." It makes no sense. So I will put the number up for you. Great question, Mary. Okay, let me look at some other ones. Ina, I'm not sure. There are a couple. Hi, Uncle Leon. There are a couple places that do help with rent. I don't know what their funding looks like right now because a lot of these individuals, they rely on state and federal funding to be able to help individuals with their rent. I would suggest calling 211 because if you tell 211 that you need help with your rent, they can give you a list of places that may very well still have some funding available. I would suggest that to anyone who's running behind on their rent. It's call 211 and they'll give you a list. And I do know 211 is still up and operating. So yeah, call 211. I'll put that on my page as well. Great question. Okay, another question. Okay. Anthony said he got his and filled it out. Thank you, Anthony. I think I missed your call today. I apologize for that. Hi, Crystal. Okay, Kim said they got theirs and they all sent them back. Awesome. You're welcome, Geneva. Yes, and all ballots have to be postmarked by April 27th. But I think that I think that there will be an uptick in voting, especially in certain communities, if you have it where you can mail your ballot in. I think honestly it should be free postage for you to mail your ballots in. And I think you will see our numbers of turnout will go up. Things happen and some people just can't make it, or if you're working, you're not going to get off work to go vote. Unfortunately, I would want everyone to go vote, but everyone does not do that. Okay, let me look at my other page over here. Oh, Aunt Trudy told me to stop touching my face. Did I touch my face? Oh, okay. I'll stop touching my face, Aunt Trudy. Yeah, we do have a problem with our nursing homes. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Okay, so I think I've touched on everything. If you have a kid or you have a parent that is 60 and over, please inbox me your address. I will send them out one of my masks. I've been making these like crazy because I just don't have nothing else to do. So I just been making masks and cooking. So yeah, I'll send the babies and your parents and grandparents a mask. And there are a lot of people out there making them, but I'm doing mine for kids and the elderly first and foremost because I'm doing it for free. And I'm also putting a couple extra of the filters inside. I just mailed out a whole stack of them today. Again, I am not out delivering them again. I am sheltering in place. So they will be in the mail to you. So I feel like there's something else that we should touch on. Again, If I'm forgetting anything, oh wait, Mary says Veteran Family Service with Children can be referred to VFS regarding assistance with rent. Oh, thanks, Mary. Okay, so if you're a veteran, you can go through the Veteran Families VFS with assistance with rent and utilities. I'm going to put that on my page as well. Thanks for that, Mary. Um, oh, oh, you want me to put my mask pattern on my page? I can do that, but I have so many. I actually have a tutorial to show people how to make them really simple. So I didn't have a pattern. I just got my sewing machine out, and I've got like this is the Wonder Woman pattern. It's a 3D mask. I didn't have a pattern for this. I just thought it was really cool because it looked like it's jumping off your face, and then I put the little slouch in here, and then I didn't really have a pattern. I made like probably 6, 7 different designs, and I finally came up one that I thought was really, really simple, and I did a live on how to do that one. Really simple, but I will put that up again. They don't take that long to make. Maybe unless you're trying to be super creative because you just want to kill some time like I did. They maybe take like 5 minutes to make. I think my 3D one took me probably maybe 10 minutes because I wanted to make sure all my lines and stuff in the back were straight. But me using these little elastic rubber band things that you put in your hair was a godsend. It just really helped. And then my friend Josh, not Josh, Zach Myers, he sent me, hold on. He sent me these. I'm doing some masks for some nurses. These where they click on the back where you put your when you put your mask on. These things go on the back of your head because a lot of them are complaining about them bothering their ears. So he sent me some of these, and so I'm putting these on the back of all of my masks to go to my nurses. So I'm truly grateful for these. So thank you so much, Zach. And again, send me an inbox. Babies, honeys, babies to 17, and then my elderly people. Not trying to forget about us here in the middle, but I want to make sure that our babies are taken care of because again, I'm just concerned that they're being forgotten about a lot in all of this. Okay, let me see if I'm missing any other questions. Oh, okay. I got you, Crystal. I'll make sure I get those to you. I know, Ina. I know. And I actually ordered some material that has Ward 5 all over the material. So I'll be doing those for all my Ward 5 residents. So uh, that'll probably take me about 2 weeks to do all those because I'm sure I'll get a lot of requests for those ones, which those ones I'll be doing for Ward 5 residents. And again, if you have any questions about your rent, about how to maneuver unemployment, I do have a couple of numbers that I could shoot to those having issues, and those who are getting your stimulus money. Please reach out to your landlords. Please touch base with public utilities about your water and your electric, because again, when the world opens back up, when Ohio opens back up, these bills will come due. And it bothers me to know that there's going to be a lot of people on the other side of that. And that's just very troubling to me. So I'm hoping that I've touched everything. Wait a minute, let me look on my other page. Oh, Sharon, thank you. That's so sweet. Um, I've got 3 different accounts going on. I've got my YouTube live going on. I've got my council live going on, and I've got my regular live going on because I wanted to make sure I did not forget anyone and wanted to make sure that everyone got this message. And again, if you guys have any concerns about who's considered essential, non-essential, I've gotten a lot of calls about places that are open. As y'all could tell, Gabe's decided they just were going to do what they wanted to do, and look what happened to them. I would never want to be on the other end of that because when this is over, yeah, I just wouldn't want to be on the other end of that. Just do what's right now to save the grief later. And that's just what I think about when I say people who just want to go, 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 thinking they're going to miss something out here. Just think about when this is all said and done, you've done your part. And there's a reason why our numbers are so much lower than other states. Although ours are starting to tick up a little bit, I'm just hoping that us opening back up on May 1st does not make, us explode and catch up with all the other people that are listed on TV. So right now, I think the governor and Dr. Acton did a good job. I just hope that May 1st does not come back to bite us. But in the meantime, as they're phasing out, they did not say not to shelter in place. Let's continue to do that, okay? And let me see if I have anyone. Alex, you're funny. I will reach out to your council person though, and I will make sure that uh, I do know that Councilman Shamus Malik is having virtual meetings as well. I do know that he is. Um, uh, our council president, she's still working hard. She goes into the office. They have our whole Zoom set up. So now we're having our meetings on Zoom. Our next meeting is April 20th. It is open to the public, and you guys can tap in, ask questions, and all that. So we are doing Zoom meetings as well. So I would encourage you all to pop in those, and that's on April the 20th. Let me see who else. Yeah, I see that, Sean. That's what we talked about just a little while ago about the nursing homes. And again, before I leave, please check on your parents and your grandparents. Make sure that if they need anything, even if now this is where you can say it's okay to do a drive-by. Drive by, drop some groceries, ring the bell, and leave because we don't want to get our parents and grandparents sick. That's what we have to do right now to keep our families safe. And so I think we all will do our part by making sure we keep our elderly parents and grandparents safe and making sure that they have all the things that they need. And again, if you need a mask for your babies, please inbox me. Don't inbox me saying you need 10 of them. I'm not going to send you 10 of them. Within reason. I am doing this for free. I'm doing this out of love because it is actually helping me occupy my time. And I haven't sewn since I lived with my aunt and my grandmother. So it's actually making me do something productive with my time. And I think it's much needed right now. And we'll probably be wearing masks for a really long time. So again, thank you all. If you need anything, please reach out to me, Ward 5 at Akron, Ohio, one word, .gov. That's Ward, the number 5 at akronohio.gov. My council number is 330-212-9118. Please feel free to text me. If there's anything that comes up. If it's not in my ward, just let me know. I'll pass it on to the other council people with no problem at all. I know Sharon, she's on Facebook a lot. So she's very interactive with her residents. Representative Malik is very interactive with his residents. Our council president, she's on Facebook a lot. So we have resident colleagues that are on Facebook that you can reach out to. But I will absolutely make sure that your message gets to them. Thank you, Sean. Hi, Ness. Thank you, sweetie. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Tony. Yeah, and I think that the hardest part right now for people to deal with is the fact that there's homegoing services and we can't go. I had someone that I grew up with who just passed away a few weeks ago. I was still sick. I was in quarantine. I couldn't even go to his services. But I think we just have to get to the point where we're almost probably going to have to live stream services until we get on the other side of this, and that's unfortunately, but I send in prayers your way, Anthony. And again, you all, thank you all for tuning in. I love you much. And now I'm going to go and cook. So talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. Wow, I had 260 people logged on. Mm-hmm. Right. And